How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? As you get ready to listen to this upcoming episode from the Playmakers Blog podcast, I just want to let you know that you too can get into the podcast journey. It's very simple, it's very easy. All you got to do is jump on Anchor, the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. It is 100% free and easy to use. And even with Anchor, you can get great sponsors who want to advertise your podcast. That means you can get paid for your podcast right away from Jump Street. So, in fact, reading this ad is what I'm doing right now. So, if you had the time, if you had the will and determination and the dream to be a podcaster, what you waiting for? Jump on it. Anchor is the way to go. You ready? I'm ready. The Playmakers Bar Podcast present Hoops Talk, hosted by Darnell the Playmaker Salins. NBA, college basketball, playoffs, March Madness. No matter what, we talking hoops, man. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? Guess what? Today is July 6th, 2021, which means it's the NBA Finals Day. We finally got to the final two teams. It's great. It's been a good season. Great playoffs. We normally deal with some injuries to key players. We gonna be honest. But today is the day. The finals begin. Rejoice. We get to crown the champion over the next week to 2 weeks. So if you don't know me by now and this is your first time listening in, I am Donna the Playmaker Silence, the leader, the head of the Playmakers blog brand. And this is Tuesday's edition of Hoops Talk, previewing the NBA Finals. Now, those of you out on the West Coast who's up early this morning, I truly appreciate you being up early this morning to listen to me preview the NBA Finals. It's the Milwaukee Bucks coming out of the East against the Phoenix Suns coming out of the West. 9 o'clock tonight on the East Coast, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. ABC is your channel. Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson will be on the calls for these finals. Should be a good one. The Milwaukee Bucks haven't won the World Championship since 1974. This is their third appearance in the NBA Finals overall. The last time they was in the NBA Finals is that 1974 win. For the Phoenix Suns, they are the first team in NBA history to make it to the NBA Finals after not being in the postseason for 10 plus years. The last time they was in there, I believe it was 2000. I want to say 2010, 2009. When Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, that crew coached by Mike D'Antoni was getting the ball up and down the court in 3 seconds or less. That team right there, yes. So it's been a while. It's been a very long time for Phoenix. But this is the second time the Phoenix Suns are in the NBA Finals. The last time they was in the NBA Finals was 1993, led by Charles Barkley. And if you know it, for all my basketball aficionados out there, if you know anything about the 1990s, you kind of figure who they ran up against. For those of you who don't and who are new, well, the Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns ran into Michael Jordan. So you can pretty much figure out how that ended for Phoenix. Now that we're here, the Milwaukee Bucks got past the Miami Heat, who was the Eastern Conference champion of last season down in the bubble. They swept them in 4 games. Very disappointing to see Miami get swept, but the Bucks moved on. Then in the second round, they went up against the Brooklyn Nets. A hobbled James Harden. Kyrie Irving goes down, I believe, in game 3. with an ankle injury, didn't return to the series. Kevin Durant did whatever he could, but it was the Milwaukee Bucks who went into Brooklyn, the Barclays Center in Game 7, and took this series 4-3 over the Nets. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they went up against the surprising Atlanta Hawks led by Trae Young, coached by Nate McMillan. Shout out to Nate McMillan, who got a 4-year deal with the Hawks to be the official coach of the Atlanta Hawks. Well deserved, especially after what you did with this group here. Bogdanovich finally found their shot. Trae Young is dealing with that ankle injury that he suffered. The thing is, Giannis got injured in this series as well. Khris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. These guys stepped up, and these guys finished off the Hawks in 6 games. Which was the final of the 6th game with this past Saturday down in the ATL. So that's how the Milwaukee Bucks got to the finals. They beat the Heat in 4, the Nets in 7, and the Hawks in 6. For the Phoenix Suns, on the other hand, their first round matchup was against the world defending champions, the Los Angeles Lakers, led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis goes down in Game 4 with the hamstring, all growing. The Suns end up winning it in Game 6 in Staples Center in a beatdown. Never seen the LeBron James team get beat down like that. Actually, no, I take that back. My Magic did it. The year we went to the finals, I believe that was 2008. We beat them down very good. But ever since then, I ain't seen LeBron James team get beat down like that since. But anyway, the Suns took out the Lakers in 6. Next up was the Denver Nuggets, a team that was part of the Western Conference Final last year against those Lakers, before the Lakers went on to win the world title. The Suns took them out in 4, a good sweep of the Nuggets. It's terrible seeing how the Lakers play. Expected more from the Nuggets, but the Suns were a better team, and they wanted it more. So shout out to those in the sweep. And then in the Western Conference Finals, without Kawhi Leonard, it was against the Los Angeles Clippers. And those of you who have been watching basketball, you already know it took them 6 because Chris Paul went ahead and dropped 41 points in Game 6 in Staples Center yet again to finish off Paul George and the Los Angeles Clippers. Shout out to Los Angeles Clippers, by the way. Very great of how y'all played without your star player, Kawhi Leonard. You took out the number 1 team in the league, the Utah Jazz, in 6 without Kawhi. You pushed the Phoenix Suns to 6 games, but CP3 was not going to be denied. CP3 didn't want no parts of a Game 7. And he made sure they didn't go back to Phoenix for a Game 7. So shout out to Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. That's how they got to the NBA Finals. The Lakers in 6, the Nuggets in 4, and the Clippers in 6. By the way, I think they're the first team to ever win, to actually close out 2 teams in the same, on a row in the same building. They crushed the Lakers in 6 in Staples Center, and they beat the Suns in 6 in Staples Center. I mean, they beat the Clippers in 6 in Staples Center. So shout out to them. LA's been good. LA's been good to the Suns. LA's been really good to the Suns. All right, now we got that out the way here. We gotta look at some matchup. So, here's the thing. What matches are there to look at? There's plenty to look at if you want to be honest. I mean, can we go Jrue Holiday and Chris Paul? That's a matchup. Jrue Holiday stuck on, Kevin Durant at one point in time in the next series. Jrue Holiday not only stuck on Trae Young. At the Hawks, he stuck on Bogdanovich when he needed to. Jrue Holiday is a good defender here. Chris Paul don't turn the ball over, so that's a matchup to watch. Jrue Holiday versus CP3. Dwayne Haynes out there from a basketball world comment on my post was saying Jrue Holiday versus CP3. I like that matchup. I like it. Somebody else commented on my post and I put on social media, and they was referring to Chris Paul versus the NBA Finals, which meaning he was saying Chris Paul versus the moment. And I gotta admit, that's very clever, but so true. In 16 years, Chris Paul has made it to his first ever NBA Finals. So I must admit, how does Chris Paul handle the moment of finally getting to the NBA Finals? It was very, very good thought. There's English. That's the guy I'm looking for. There's English from the NBA groups on Facebook. Very good point. Chris Paul versus the NBA Finals, the moment itself. I gotta admit, I like it. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton versus the NBA Finals. Hell, they've been playing this is their first time in the playoffs, period. And they already in the NBA Finals. So is it business as usual, or is it the moment like, yo, we are in the NBA Finals? Our first time in the postseason, we are in the NBA Finals. Or did it get too much for this team? You know, Mikal Bridges and Kim Johnson and, Cameron Payne. How does Monty Williams coach in these finals? Does he stick with the usual game plan, or does he try to do too much now because it's the NBA Finals and he wants to make sure? You got CP3, you got your leader. Yeah, you got a young team, hey, babe. This young team been playing well. That's a lot to look for on the Phoenix side. And you're the home team. You're the favorite. You got home court advantage. So your job is to defend home court in games 1 and 2, and don't have it split with Milwaukee. So yes, the pressure's on Phoenix. Pressure is on Phoenix out the gate. How's the pressure going to handle how does Phoenix going to handle the pressure? How does CP3 handle the pressure? How does Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton handle the pressure? How does Monte Williams handle the pressure? And then we go over to the flip side. The Milwaukee Bucks, the underdogs, the road team. Giannis Antetokounmpo. What's his health status and his impact on the series? Well, he's doubtful for game 1 tonight. Let's see how that plays. In the last 2 games, the Bucks have played very well without Giannis. Khris Middleton and Brook Lopez and Jrue Holiday all unleashed themselves. Seemed like they felt that they felt in the groove. They got in the groove. And Khris Middleton, for some reason, that damn third quarter to that fourth quarter, Khris Middleton just gets hot. Like Shaq said, he's on fire, Ernie. He gets hot out of nowhere. That second half, it's like he just hit a switch in his own. And it's like, well, you ain't stopping this. Jrue Holiday becoming a man among boys now. I like it. Bobby Porter's bringing that energy, bringing that hype into the game, not just on the defensive side, but in the entire game. He comes with that energy, that hype for Milwaukee. Brook Lopez. They'll match up with DeAndre Ayton, something I'm looking at. How many threes are you going to take outside the paint? Are you going to hit your three? Are you going to be effective with hitting your threes outside the paint to draw DeAndre Ayton out that paint? Because we all know DeAndre Ayton want to be that rim protector. But you can't be a rim protector if your matchup is knocking down outside shots. So Brook Lopez, you don't gotta shoot threes. Give me a 15, give me a 14 or 15 jumper. Give me a 10-foot jumper once in a while. Let's make him think. Make him take one actual step outside that paint. That's it. You don't gotta shoot the corner 3 all the time. You don't gotta shoot the wing 3 all the time. No. Let's take your 10 to 15 jump shots. Make DeAndre Ayton know that, hey, you're gonna have to step up. Cause I can shoot the ball. Let's do that. And then you can take your 2 to 3 3-pointers, and knock them down and make them think even more. You can do that to Brook Lopez. I want to see that. And on the other side, DeAndre Ayton. Hey, you do your thing, man, down low. I ain't gonna lie to you. But Lopez, though, he's a rim protector too now. So you got your hands full, DeAndre. So how you gonna handle this matchup when it's on you to get some points done, to continue to get your double-double that you've been, your 20 and 12, your 25 and 15. What happens when you can't get that? What happens when you only can get 15 and 8 or 15 and 10? How you gonna feel? Are you gonna get frustrated? Or are you gonna say, hey, I gotta keep going? Because Brook Lopez is a good defender. Brook Lopez is a damn good defender. Matter of fact, everybody on Milwaukee is a damn good defender. They whole starting lineup is a good defender. Even when Giannis comes back. Jrue Holiday is a dog on the defensive side. Khris Middleton can defend. PJ Tucker, that's what he's there for. Is to play defense. I just talked about Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis come out the bench. He plays defense. Pat Connaughton, when he comes to the bench, he plays defense. Brent Forbes, when you get your minutes, can you knock down your three-pointers? You didn't knock them down against Atlanta. You knocked them down against Brooklyn, but you ain't knocking down against Atlanta. Brent Forbes, they gonna need you to knock down your shots, man, in these finals, because they're gonna need everybody to step up. This is where legends are made, ladies and gentlemen. This is the NBA Finals we're talking about. You don't have to be the big name to be a legend. Hell, Kawhi Leonard became a legend because of the finals. Because of what he did to LeBron James. Because his defense and his ability to shoot the mid-range shot. That's how Kawhi Leonard's name became big. Because he's a two-way player. He was on San Antonio Spurs. When you had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. But the finals MVP went to Kawhi Leonard. This is where your name can get made at. This is where people look at you and say, hey, man, back in 2021, that dude helped that team win that championship. That dude balled his ass off. This is what people going to remember now. Because the world is watching now. The world is watching. And we're just, a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks away from the Olympics after this. Time to make it or break it. Now, I will say this to get back on Devin Booker for the Suns. People say it's disrespectful to compare him to Kobe Bryant. I mean, if you feel that way, but you have to understand this. One of the guys Devin Booker was training with was Kobe. You have to think about that. Why you think, right? He might not have the defensive presence as Kobe did, but the mental aspect on the offensive side, it came from Kobe. He was working with Kobe. He worked with Kobe. That's why he plays the way he plays on offensive. He's an assassin. So, Devin Booker, my question to you is, do you take that next step over Kobe Bryant? Because this is it. It's not guaranteed you're going to get back here again. So this is your moment, Devin Booker. When the moment arrives, and it's time for you to hit the shots to seal a victory in a game this series. Can you do it? Can you do it? That's all I want to know. Can you do it? Because guess what? You and Khris Middleton, y'all might be trading buckets back and forth for most of the games or most of the series. But which one of y'all, when the moment arises, say, I got this. I'm knocking this shot down. We're going to take this home. Khris Middleton, Devin Booker, what you going to do? Oh, I know Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday going to do what he can against Chris Paul. That's going to be a match that's lovely to watch. Brook Lopez, DeAndre, and hey, let's go. PJ Tucker, he going to take his turn against Chris Paul and Devin Booker. He gonna get his shots in. I ain't worrying about it. But Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, Cameron Payne. What you gonna do? Hey, Jay Crowder been here. He was here last year. He was with Miami when they went to the finals. They just ran into LeBron James in them. So he already has some final experience. So Jay Crowder, can you do what you did in game 6 against the Clippers? Because you came out, you had about 15 points, 16 points in the first half. So does Jay Crowder get one of them games when he's hot? And that's what the Suns needed, another person to get hot real quick. All right, talk about Brent Forbes for Milwaukee. Pat Connaughton. whenever Giannis comes back. Because just best believe Giannis would not miss too many games in these finals. Best believe that. I would not be surprised by the time game 2 happens, Giannis is back in the lineup. I won't be surprised. I'm not saying he will be, but I won't be surprised when if we return to game 2. I won't be, because it's the NBA Finals, man. This is where it's at. It's the NBA Finals. It's time to get with it, man. It's time to get with it. Coaching matchup. Monte Williams. Mike Budenholzer. I like to edge Monte Williams in this matchup because Monte Williams makes adjustments. Because when the Clippers brought that lead down to 7 in Game 6, Monte Williams said, Chris Paul, knock him out. Chris Paul went on an 8-0 run. He went back up to 15. And that was it for the Clippers. That was it. Monte Williams not afraid to make adjustments. Budenholzer, you shouldn't be afraid to make adjustments, but it seems like you don't. Unless your hand is really, really forced to. Like an injury to Giannis. Your hand was forced to make an adjustment. You inserted body 40s. Worked beautifully. You had the energy on the offense. The ball movement was better. You was getting quality shots. You made most of them. Great. But what's going to happen when you have to make adjustments in mid-game? You have to make adjustments at halftime. Are you going to make those adjustments? Because I know Monte Williams is going to make adjustments. Monte Williams is going to make adjustments. But are you, Mike Budenholzer, are you going to make the adjustments? Are you going to do what it takes to make sure Milwaukee brings home another NBA championship? Because the Deer District, they looking at you. They looking at you. What you going to do, coach? What you going to do? What you going to do? With all that being said, as I sit here on this morning, going towards the afternoon, you know, my heart is saying Milwaukee. My mind is saying Phoenix. I love Chris Paul. I like Chris Paul. I love Giannis too. But somebody got to win the title. And somebody can't win it. If I got to pick, if I'm being really honest with myself right now, you know, I got to sit here and choose. I'm going with Milwaukee in 6, man. I think Milwaukee was split in Phoenix. They might. I got a feeling the first 4 games gonna be split. The first 4 games will be split, and I think Milwaukee, with Giannis back, will take the last 2. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm picking Milwaukee in 6, man. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. Hell, Phoenix the favorite one, so yeah. I might be wrong, but hey, it is what it is, man. With that being said, man, I don't have much more to talk about. I'm not gonna get into the Rick and Nichols and Maria Taylor thing, because a lot of y'all are already talking about it. I don't want to beat no new things down to death. So, with that being said, I got the Bucks in 6. Shout out to Milwaukee. Shout out to the Deer District. Be rocking and rolling. So, ladies and gentlemen, for that, Donna the Playmaker Sons out here in Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you for tuning in to the NBA Finals preview. I'll holler at y'all Thursday before Game 2. Deuces. Woo. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. So if you want to stay updated and know when new episodes of Hoop Salts come out, subscribe and follow to the podcast. You can do this on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Speaker.com, or any of your favorite platforms, including iTunes/Apple Podcasts. And for those of you who are listening on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, go ahead and drop a rate and review of the podcast to let us know how we're doing and how we can improve. And for those of you who want to see any other podcasts that we got going on, go ahead and subscribe to our website, theplaymakersblog.com, and you can see all the podcasts that we do. Until next time for Hoops Talk, it's your boy, the Playmaker down there, Silent, signing off.